Chapter 48 to 49. In the Land of Fire, along an official road stretching from west to east, a bull cart clattered along. To call it a bull cart was a bit of a misnomer. It was merely a wooden cart with two wheels, and the animal pulling it wasn't a horse or a donkey, but rather a slug the size of a water buffalo. Yuto lay sprawled on the cart, basking in the warm sunlight. Tsunade was beside him, fiddling with a large broken sword. The blast sword. Shibuki, quite a formidable weapon. I wonder if it can be repaired. It doesn't matter if it can't be fixed, Yuto lazily replied. Sensei, I think this thing's symbolic value outweighs its practical use. It might be good for lowering Kirigakure's morale, but in actual combat, it's not that impressive. A chakra blade would be sharper at least. In Yuto's eyes, the Shibuki didn't pose much of a threat. It was just a large plank covered in explosive tags, intimidating but clumsy and limited in attack methods. My dear student, you underestimate this sword, Tsunade said as she lifted the Shibuki to Yuto's face. Yuto wasn't lying down in front of his sensei out of laziness. He was bandaged like a mummy, making even moving his fingers difficult. Take a closer look at this sword. Yuto glanced at it but didn't see anything noteworthy. After Jinpachi detonated the entire explosive scroll, over 20,000 tags went off simultaneously, and the sword couldn't withstand that level of destruction. It was completely blown apart. The once solid blade was now pitted and separated from the explosive scroll, with only a unique silk cloth connecting them. The burnt smell emanated from the scroll, rendering both the blade and the scroll unusable. The explosion mechanism of this sword is quite simple, Tsunade explained, pointing to the charred inner cylinder of the scroll. The scroll's inner cylinder is lined with explosive tags, with a central drum connected to the blade by a silk cloth. The drum rotates, moving the cloth, which in turn transfers the tags to the blade. It's simple in structure but extremely difficult to execute. Yuto understood what Tsunade was getting at and sighed. Because it has to constantly withstand explosive impacts, the silk cloth used as the conveyor must be exceptionally durable and capable of conducting chakra to activate the tags with minimal chakra. His eyes lit up. This silk cloth, maybe it can be modified to protect your arms for performing the lion's fang bite, Tsunade said with a soft smile, but then her brow furrowed. However, as I mentioned, a cloth that can withstand over 20,000 explosive tags is incredibly tough and hard to process. Using her monstrous strength, Tsunade tried to pull apart the blade and the explosive scroll, but only managed to leave small dents on the blade. It's impossible to tear it apart with brute force. Even the sharpness of a chakra scalpel isn't enough. I wonder how the Kirigakure folks made it in the first place. Yuto chuckled. Why not let the village's craftsmen try? They specialize in this sort of thing. Their skills are fine for making kunai and shuriken, but for special blades, I'd rather find someone else. Tsunade scratched her chin and said with certainty, Leave it to me. Then I'll leave it to you, Sensei. In this world of shinobi, unless required for a mission, any spoils taken from enemies are considered personal property. Money, weapons, all are kept by the shinobi. It's a perilous profession, and this unspoken rule exists in every world. Yuto thought if the village asked for the sword, he would keep the special silk cloth and hand over the rest. The distinctive blade and explosive scroll alone would suffice for any demonstration. Besides the sword Shibuki, the other spoils included a few teeth, collected by Tsunade from the rainforest while Yuto was unconscious. Konoha could analyze the chakra information within them to identify the dead shinobi, which would help determine Yuto's merits. Few would dare to fabricate such information. Most renowned shinobi have well-documented histories. The slug cart ambled along as the sensei and student chatted. Initially, they discussed how to modify the sword, but the conversation soon shifted to ninjutsu, the various shinobi villages situations, and then to more casual topics. Yuto noticed how close Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya had been. She shared many funny stories from their childhood, laughing heartily and appearing completely relaxed. The classic Konoha team composition of 2 boys and 1 girl truly fostered deep bonds from a young age. Even now, in the 56th year of Konoha, despite Orochimaru's inhumane human experiments, he still held a pure space in his heart for Jiraiya and Tsunade. If they were ever in danger, Orochimaru would risk his life for them, at least for now. Although the slug cart wasn't fast, it was a summoning beast with stamina far surpassing that of horses and mules. As the sunset's glow intertwined with Tsunade's golden hair, the majestic Hokage rock came into view. "Cough, cough! Well, Yuto, I'm leaving now!" Tsunade awkwardly coughed. "I need to cook for Shizune." Such a poor excuse, Yuto thought. Shizune has been handling all the cooking and housework lately, but he understood why Tsunade chose to leave now. The Jonin promotion test was supposed to be a solo mission. Tsunade had sensed his critical condition through Katsuyu and came to care for him without interfering in the combat, protecting the village's valuable new talent. However, it was better if people didn't see Tsunade and Yuto returning to the village together. There would inevitably be gossip. The villagers of Konoha respected the Senju clan, but didn't shy away from talking behind their backs. People have a dark side to them. "All right, Sensei, take care." "Sure. I'll leave the slug and cart to you. You'll arrive soon. I'll be waiting in the room for the Jonin promotion test." Tsunade suddenly leaned in, raising her fist. "If you spill the beans, you're dead." She gently sliced through Yuto's bandages, releasing a pungent medicinal smell. "Don't worry, Sensei." Yuto flexed his wrist, feeling much better already. However, when he turned around, the cart was already empty of the woman. Beside him, there was only a lingering warmth and a single golden hair. In an underground chamber, Yuto stood tall, presenting a broken sword with both hands. One of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, Jinpachi Munashi, has been confirmed dead. He paused, then continued. Before his death, Jinpachi triggered an explosive scroll, leaving no remains. However, I managed to collect his teeth, which I will send to the medical team for examination. Hiruzan ran his fingers over the broken sword, sighing after a long pause. "You completed the mission thoroughly, Yuto-kun. You are already an excellent shinobi." He returned the broken sword to the branch family youth with a smile. "On behalf of the village, I congratulate you on becoming a Jonin." "I will never forget Hokage-sama's guidance," Yuto replied, bowing deeply. As Hiruzan stroked his beard and laughed, Yuto winked at Tsunade, nudging towards her ample hips. The blonde woman blinked, subconsciously reaching back and finding a thin straw stuck there. It must have gotten there when she sat on the cart. "Yuto is indeed observant and meticulous, as expected of my beloved student," Tsunade thought proudly, not realizing anything unusual about her student's attention. Hiruzan missed the secret exchange between his student and grand student. He continued, "Yuto-kun, you received the most difficult task, which is why you were the last to return. But I am pleased that all 5 of you completed your missions. The will of fire burns eternally. According to tradition, your promotion ceremony will be witnessed by the Jonin and high-ranking members of the village. Rest well these days, gather your strength. The future of Konoha depends on you." After a few more words of comfort, Hiruzan finally got to the point. "Yuto-kun, here it's just you, me, and your sensei. As my grand student, I haven't given you any special treatment. Is there anything you want? I can grant it as a promotion gift." Tsunade played with the straw, signaling Yuto to think carefully before answering. Previously, Tsunade had requested Hiruzan Sarutobi to allow her to teach Yuto advanced Funjutsu. Despite being firmly rejected, Tsunade managed to secure some benefits for her student in a nearly stubborn manner. Hirozan wouldn't alienate Tsunade over such a minor issue. Therefore, he chose this moment to speak, having carefully considered his words. Both Tsunade and Yuto owed him a favor. Why is the third Hokage offering me benefits? Are the other four getting anything too? Yuto thought. Trusting Tsunade, he spoke directly. Hokage-sama, during my battle with Jinpachi, I realized my current self is too weak. As a shinobi, my offensive techniques are too limited. So I would like to acquire a long-range attack technique. A long-range attack? That makes sense. Fighting Jinpachi up close with a gentle fist against his explosive sword must have been dangerous. Why? Hirozan thought for a moment and nodded approvingly. Very well. Yuto-kun, I will select a suitable technique from the scrolls and have it delivered to you by the ANBU in a few days. Yuto expressed his gratitude. Given Hirozan's status, he wouldn't offer a mere C-rank jutsu. At the very least, it would be a high B-rank technique, possibly even A-rank or S-rank. The following days were relatively peaceful for Yuto. The tension in the village grew as the ninja world became more restless. High-level figures like Minato Namikaze frequently appeared in the Hokage office. Newly forged ninja tools and soldier pills piled up, and the number of bodies wrapped in white cloth returned to the village increased daily. For Yuto, however, this turmoil was distant. As a newly promoted jonin recovering from his injuries, he was respected and left to rest undisturbed at the Senju compound. During this time, both Kakashi Hatake and Yuto Hyuga were widely recognized. Kakashi, at just 12 years old, became the youngest jonin in the history of the Land of Fire. His genius reputation intimidated many. Yuto, at 13, though a year older than Kakashi, had an impressive background as well. As a member of the Hyuga clan with its Kekkei Genkai and Tsunade's personal disciple, he stood out. His jonin promotion exam involved defeating a team of Mist Chunin and one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist, Jinpachi Munashi. This was enough to attract attention from other villages. The village celebrated these two young jonin, easing the tension before the looming war. The continuous emergence of new talents was reassuring for the villagers and lower-ranked shinobi. 4 days after Yuto completed his exam, the promotion ceremony was held at the Hokage office. Besides the high-ranking members and clan leaders, all available jonin attended. The ceremony was brief, with Hirozan Sarutobi praising each of the 5 promoted shinobi before dismissing everyone to continue his meetings. As the leader of Konoha, he indeed bore significant pressure. After the ceremony, Yuto Hyuga, the clan head, approached Yuto with a warm demeanor. "The main house is proud of you. You can sit next to me at the next clan meeting. I suggest Tsunade-sama and the Hyuga clan interact more. When will your lion's fang bite technique be added to the clan's secret scrolls?" Hiyashi's words were a mix of praise and subtle pressure, classic tactics from a superior to a subordinate. Yuto listened with a respectful smile, occasionally offering compliments, showing utmost respect, friendliness, and obedience. Their conversation ended amicably with both seemingly satisfied. Days passed, and Yuto fully recovered, resuming his training and waiting for the long-range attack jutsu promised by Hirozan, as well as the impending war. However, the first significant event was Tsunade's sudden return. The blonde woman seemed weary, giving Yuto a complicated look before saying, "Yuto, Shibuki has been reforged, but the forger wants to meet the user of this weapon first." Yuto was puzzled, but agreed. Sure, let's go then." "All right." Tsunade placed her hand on the ground, drawing a complex summoning seal with chakra, and said softly, "Let's go to the Shikotsu forest."